What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Canelo Alverez, Jaime Munguia. Like promised, guys, here is the fight prediction and keys to victory. And of course, you know how we start. We start with the tale of the tape. We have Saul Canelo Alverez coming in at 60 wins. As compared to Jaime Munguia's 43 wins. These guys have been in a lot of fights, okay? 2 losses for Canelo Alverez, no losses for Jaime Munguia, 39 by knockout by Canelo Alverez, 34 by knockout by Jaime Munguia, 2 draws from Canelo Alverez, of course, his extensive career in boxing, okay? With 0 draws for Jaime Munguia, 64 total bouts for Canelo, 43, which is 21 fights less than Canelo with Jaime Munguia. 61% KO percentage versus 79% KO percentage for Jaime Munguia. For height 5'9" for Canelo Alverez, which Jaime Munguia is 6 foot tall. 71-inch reach for Canelo Alverez, as opposed to Jaime Munguia's reach is 72. Okay, so we have 72 to 71. Orthodox, both fighters are orthodox fighters, traditional. Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico for Saul Canelo Alverez, compared to Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico for Jaime Munguia. Okay. Saul Canelo Alverez, born July 18th, 1990, as compared to Jaime Munguia, which is much younger, in 1996 on October the 6th. Libra in the building. Okay, so we have the tale of the tape out on the table, and let's break down the keys of victory. For Canelo Alverez, he has to be himself. He has to come forward. He has to keep that guard high. He has to use head movement at the same damn time, which is classic in the Reynoso gym anyhow. So he should be fine if he's just himself. He has to get past the jab, which is only 1 inch in reach, which is really rather kind of strange because Canelo's a 70-inch reach and Jaime Munguia is 6 foot tall compared to the 5'9" statue of Canelo Alverez. But don't get it twisted. Canelo's been in there with tall fighters like Rocky Fielding, Callum Smith, etc. So he has experience with tall fighters. Jaime Munguia coming forward will be a good asset for Canelo Alverez, simply because Canelo Alverez is a guy that moves forward anyway, and an attacker is money in the bank for him. Okay, but he has to keep that head movement going. And if he doesn't, he's going to be like he was in the first Gennady Golovkin fight, if you guys can remember, with the jab. However, I don't think Jaime Munguia is experienced or has a good a better jab than Triple G. Triple G is a guy that, you know, he works on that jab constantly. Okay, he's one of those guys that he will pepper you with the jab and everything else actually comes out of the jab, but he can attack you, or he could have been able to attack you, since I think he's retired, with multiple attacks from different stances, because he does shift. Whereas Jaime Munguia has more of a standard style. So back to Canelo. Canelo just has to be himself, use his counterpunching ability, work the body, and he should be fine. Okay, that's how you win. Beat Canelo Alverez. The only problem with Canelo Alverez is people. Does Canelo Alverez still have the head movement ability or desire, really, you know, or the energy to move that head like we've seen him do in his prime? And in his prime was anywhere from probably 2015 to probably 2021. Okay, so that's probably the best we've ever saw Canelo. You know, all the other times he was very experienced for his young age. However, it looks like, you know, he got better. But that may be just because of the opponents, okay? And he may look good in the Jaime Munguia fight. We don't know until we see it, because we've seen the the last mutual opponent between Jaime Munguia and Canelo Alverez, which is John Ryder. John Ryder showed grit in both fights. Okay, he went the distance with Canelo, but then Jaime was able to stop him. Okay, so, you just have to view that, okay, one's younger, not as experienced, but hungrier, okay, than Canelo, which is more experienced, but not as hungry because he's done enough, he feels. I do what I want. Well, he's that guy. You know what I mean? So we'll see how these guys come together and fight each other. Whereas for Jaime Munguia has to apply pressure, but be smart about it. Yes, you have to use the jab, but understand the jab itself can cause or can give Canelo exactly what you want. However, Gennady Golovkin was very, very successful in his jab on the way he probed with his jab. Now, can Jaime Munguia do that? I don't know. He's been with Freddie Roach, so we don't know how and what Freddie Roach has been training and practicing on with him for a particular game plan, because everybody should have a game plan. Let's just be real. But is he able to do that with Jaime Munguia? Well, based on what I've seen from Jaime, I haven't seen it. So I have to say no by default. You know what I mean? Unless he impresses me. However, Jaime Munguia has improved as a boxer. He's more than a slugger, get in your face, Mexican style, brawl it out, duke it out, and we'll see what it'll be about. That kind of fighter. But he's changed. He got rid of his last trainer, and now he's with Freddie Roach. And Freddie Roach, it's his duty to box. Boxing is his God. So he's going to do everything that he can to get Jaime Munguia where he needs to be. Combinations, pressure is always a must. Because, see, here's the thing that Jaime Munguia, Team Munguia, should hope for from Canelo Alvarez is lack of head movement. Because we've seen that in the John Ryder fight. We've seen that also in the Dimitri Bivol fight. We've seen Canelo not as motivated to move that head like he used to, you know what I mean? Like the difference between him in that fight with Dimitri Bivol versus him in a fight with Danny Jacobs was two different fighters. You got a guy, which Danny Jacobs and Dimitri Bivol's about the same height, damn near same size, right? But you got two different Canelos. So hopefully Jaime Munguia is going to fight a guy like we've got accustomed to seeing Canelo lately, okay? That's the thing about that whole ordeal. So we don't know. You know what I mean? However, don't lean on it or expect it. Just hope for it. Because Canelo could show up or the style of Jaime Munguia, jab, right hand, left hook, jab, right hand, left hook to the body. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what you got. He's a standard bloke, okay? He's pretty standard, like you seen the fight between him and Deverenchenko. Deverenchenko was able to avoid a lot of those punches, but he couldn't avoid all of them. Even Gabe Rosado, shout out to Philly, fight with sticks, stones, and bottles in the streets of Philly, was able to block some of those punches, but he wasn't able to block them all. But understand, Gabe, like Canelo, also more seasoned fighters that have been through this, that, and the other with its fights in the yesteryear and has that wear and tear, so they may not be able to do what they used to do. So that standard prime fighters may not be the fighters of today. Jaime Munguia will test Canelo Alvarez to see if that Canelo Alvarez still exists. Because if it doesn't exist, Canelo's going to have problems all night. Now, based on that, the durability of Jaime Munguia, we know Jaime can be hurt. Okay, we've seen him hurt in the Deverenchenko fight. And here's the thing, Deverenchenko is a totally different fighter than Canelo. Canelo's a guy that, he breaks you down and he comes forward to set up traps of his own if you give him what you want, what he wants, okay? Which is combinations, you know what I mean? All types of traps that he sets up just coming forward. He's ready to counter. And Jaime Munguia should give him exactly what he wants. Okay? Now, can Jaime take those counter punches? Because counter punches are different than shots that you see coming. Because most counter punches are punches that you don't see. Especially if they do it right. Right? Catch and shoots are lethal. And Canelo Alvarez is a very good puncher at 168. Is the best. I don't think he's the best, but you don't need to be if your punch placement is on point. Okay, so with Jaime Munguia taking the shots, his durability, he's younger, he's stronger, he's hungrier, I feel. But will he be broken down from Canelo? And the answer is maybe, then maybe not. Simply because what we seen in John Ryder, Canelo should have wiped out. The old prime Canelo would have taken John Ryder out, but he didn't. Okay? The same may go for Jaime Munguia. Unless he gets caught with a shot he doesn't see. You guys know how I feel about Munguia. Mouth open all the time, people. And it is a bad, annoying habit that he does time after time. Okay? That may be his downfall, because that fighting a counter puncher like Canelo, you can get your jaw broken. I've been preaching that. If you guys know, if you've seen any live stream about Canelo Alvarez, and I mean Jaime Munguia will keep his mouth open because I think he has breathing problems. You know, and it's just a bad habit anyway. Okay, just mouth. You know what I mean? You don't do that. What's the point? You're trying to get your jaw knocked over into row 6. Okay, in a bowl of popcorn or something, you know, in a big large shake or drink at the concession stand. That's what you're asking for, because that could happen if you keep your mouth open with a counterpuncher like Canelo Alvarez. Now, who do I think will win? I think Canelo would win because of how the styles are. Canelo likes a come forward fighter. Jaime is going to do exactly that. I don't see Jaime trying to outbox Canelo. That doesn't make sense anyway. That's not his bag. His bag is pressure, 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 right? Mexican fighter, pressure, 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 added defense on top of more pressure, pressure, pressure. That's him. And if Canelo of the old, this wouldn't even be a discussion, but this is not the Canelo of the old, I do feel. And I think that's going to be the main question that we're going to look at today, or that night, against Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. So Jaime Munguia may have a shot to overwhelm Canelo, since he's not able to come with a guy that young, strong, and hungry that's throwing punches in bunches, many bunches. Okay, now Jaime does get tired in the middle rounds. Okay, so maybe Canelo can pick up some speed, you know, or some steam with that, and that alone. Okay, that may happen. But in other words, though, I think Canelo may still have enough to do exactly what he needs to do with Jaime Munguia, because Jaime Munguia has no real special effects. He's just tall, a decent puncher, and very durable and young. But other than that, though, there's nothing that Canelo has to worry about. Footwork, speed, movement. I think Canelo has seen that, done that before, and this shouldn't be any problem for Canelo Alvarez. But however, this is the sport that I love, that I hate so much, so I could be wrong. You guys tell me what you think of this prediction between Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!